I'm going to give you a broad overview of the Fingerboard Workbook Series, Map the Violin for Good and Map the Viola for Good. How are you expected to find the notes on this? Why are there no indications where to put your fingers? And what will it take? Nowadays, books include pictures, fingerboard charts, symbols like half-step signs. You can have somebody show you, okay, about an inch from the nut, put your finger, and that's going to be called a B. Okay, now reach about another inch. There's a C sharp. You can always stick a tape on there. Okay, we know where that note is now. But there's nothing like a Chinese proverb to concisely put things into perspective. Tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, I may remember. Involve me, and I will understand. And that's precisely what happens with a student when they go through the Fingerboard Workbook Series, Map the Violin and Viola for Good. You become involved in learning where the notes are on the fingerboard. You'll be involved in 3 ways. You'll learn how to visualize where the notes are. You'll develop your ear so you know what to expect, what sound to expect. And you'll develop your tactile sense, how to compare your fingers to each other, what's their distance. I'd like to tell you a completely fictitious story that illustrates what it's like to find notes on a fingerboard. You and your friends discover that there's this amazingly unique park system, and this park system is designed to have a nighttime experience in the woods. You're not allowed to use any lights or flashlights, and the park is set up with some very interesting features to help guide you to the different destinations in the park. Of course, there's a brochure for the park, and in the brochure there are directions. There's a list of destinations in the park. There's a map showing you where all the destinations are. There's a list of sounds that you can hear along the way, and they describe their unique rope system. The ropes guide you to all the different destinations in the park. Studying the map, you and your friends decide that you'd like to go to the cabin, because once you get to the cabin, you are allowed to light a fire, and you thought that would be pretty cool. There's a parking lot next to the creek that you decide would be the best place to start your journey. Because it's a nighttime experience, you and your friends decide you better familiarize yourself with the brochure, because you won't be able to turn on a flashlight and look at it once you're there. You read through the directions, go over them a number of times, and you study the map, and you locate on the map the parking lot by the creek and the cabin that you're going to. And you try to visualize what direction you'll be heading, because you're going to have to find the rope that leads to that cabin once you're there. It's time to go, and you get in your car, you follow the directions, you get out of the car, and you hear the creek. you know you have arrived at least at the first destination spot. You find the trailhead and you find this whole nub of ropes, and they're all going in different directions, and you're thinking about that map. Okay, now the cabin was in this direction, and so you're feeling the ropes, and there's one rope that heads in what seems to be what you imagined on the map. So hand over hand, you guide yourself along the rope, and behind you, the sound of the creek is getting quieter and quieter. And now you're listening forward. You're feeling your way, you're imagining the map, and you're listening forward, and you're feeling your way, you're imagining the map, and you're listening forward, and you're listening for the sound of your friends who are already there, and the sound of the crackle of the fire in the fireplace. Long story short, you get there. And that's exactly what it's like to play an instrument that has a fingerboard. You intertwine visualizing, hearing the note, and feeling it. And any three of those will be in play at any time while you're playing. The Fingerboard Workbook Series, Map the Violin for Good and Map the Viola for Good, covers first position all the way through 11th position. It comprehensively covers the entire fingerboard. You will study distances beginning with a half step, going all the way up to an octave, outlining the frame of your fingering that violinists and violists share. I'd like to conclude with our Chinese proverb. Tell me, and I may forget. Show me, maybe I'll remember. But involve me, and I will understand.